It's the breakfast of champions, my friends. So today we are putting together two 6-drawer IKEA dressers. Can't remember for the life of me the particular model, but I do remember that it's one of the easier ones to assemble. Except for the drawers, you know, we all know drawers, putting together the drawers is just the most tedious thing in the world. But it's kind of an amazing feeling when I go to a client's house to put together IKEA furniture. When I first get there, they're usually like, hey, you do this on the side kind of thing. It's like, no, I do this full time. I do this all the time. And then they get super surprised when I bust out their entire unit super quick without even looking at the instructions. I'm not trying to brag. This happens to everyone. If you work on this stuff long enough, you know, you work on the same thing long enough, you're gonna know how to do it without looking at the instructions. So don't take that as me bragging. Given said that, I am awesome. And it just reminded me I forgot my cough drops. This is going to be a very interesting day, is it not? So what's going on, guys? I wanted to do something different for a video, something I thought that you guys would like. This is me doing an IKEA job, and you're gonna see two jobs in this video. This one specifically was relatively easy. It was those two dressers, mall, you know, IKEA with their strange terminology for everything. It's Swedish. It's Swedish. Anyway, I just thought that this would be a new, interesting format, and it's something that's very easy for me to do, and it's easy to edit. And you know what? I thought that it would be just overall a fun experience for myself and for you guys. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm separating all the hardware. You'll kind of see I decompartmentalize everything. Whenever I go to a job, I make sure that everything is laid out. When there's space, it's wonderful. But I separate everything just like you see here, so that it's very easy for me to know where everything is at, have easy access to it, and be able to get the job done a lot sooner, especially on these IKEA jobs. These IKEA jobs, the flat rate jobs, it's far more beneficial for you to get them done as soon as you possibly can. But, you know, you still want to do it nice and safe and, you know, all that jazz. So there's two dressers here, and because there's two dressers, I'm trying to knock them both out at the same time. And yeah, and you can see there that my bit got stuck. You'll see that actually a couple times. I think I need to change it out at this point. But yeah, so I've worked on these units quite a bit. I don't need instructions for this particular one. And you know, that's not me flexing. That's just the nature of the beast. When you've been doing something for long enough times, it just becomes muscle memory. These things are relatively easy from my experience level, so it doesn't really prove too difficult. Trying to make sure, you know, that you do things quick on these jobs, but at the same time, you don't want to rush things necessarily. You don't want shoddy craftsmanship. I don't even know if we can really call that, just for assembling furniture, craftsmanship, but I think you understand what I mean. Now, the thing is with this particular job, and there was actually another one before it, that I did a very similar thing that I'm doing now, is I was prepping, you know, video to do voiceover on. This particular job, the client was in and out quite a bit, so I didn't get as many shots of me actually going through and doing the work, but I do have enough to, you know, give this project some justice, so you guys can kind of see my workflow. And now what I'm doing here is I'm putting essentially the feet, you know, the little plastic that elevates it up, make sure it doesn't scratch and scuff any surface that it might be on. So I'm just tapping these in, tap, 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 tap. And now that I think about it, I'm probably going to need a new hammer as well. You know, I've had this hammer, you know, before I was even tasking. Like, I've had this hammer for quite a while, and there's a little bit of wiggle in the head. It's, you know, it's a cheap hammer, so it might be coming close to calling it quits on it. Now, a lot of people that do TaskRabbit, do handyman type things, they, you know, anytime you know, you're working with your hands and you know, you get tools, you kind of hoard them. And I have two toolboxes and my tool bag, and both of the boxes are filled, the bag's filled, but I mainly just take the bag with me. That's, my daily driver. It gets all the things I need done for my daily carry, I should say. It gets everything that I need done for furniture assembly, mounting, this, that, and the other. With mounting, I do bring some additional stuff. I have a really large 2-foot level. It does what I need to do for most jobs. I can have a speed square, stuff like that. What else? Oh, I have other things. What are these other things? Yeah, I'm going to put links down below so you guys can, have a better look at my actual, the tools that I actually carry with me. Or if I can't find links to the actual one that I have, I'll give you one for some suggestions. Now, this right here was a topic of contention during this job. This right here, this little chip that you can see right there, I brought it to my client's attention, and that's something that I recommend that everyone does. The moment that you see it, especially, when you kind of take things out of the box, or soon, very quickly after you've taken it out of the box, like the example here is I've already started the assembly process, but I just noticed that piece. So I brought it to my client's attention. Oh, wait, that was actually before. My bad. I brought it to my client's attention before, and it was kind of like a short back and forth of whether or not to continue assembling the piece just because that one little chip. Now, I didn't realize until later, oh wait, the drawer's going to cover it anyway. And I forgot to mention that. So she got on the phone with IKEA, seeing what kind of what kind of remedy for this situation we could have. And I don't know what they actually decided to come up with, but she let me continue on the job regardless. But it didn't waste too much time. I was still able, while she was on the phone, to continue the assembly process. Now, I don't really recommend a lot of people doing this part that I'm doing here. I'm doing it, placing the cam locks in. I do it because it makes things so much quicker to do it in before than try to, especially if it's like in a hard to reach spot or if it just gets finicky. I would recommend, just as the instructions say, do it, when the time comes in the instructions. I do it earlier on because, hey, you know what, it's quicker overall. But you can get it caught on the screw. And as you can see here, I've jumped forward in time, as it were. I have gone to the point where, I'm starting to, really assemble everything, get the backings on all of these. And like I said, I couldn't really film as much as I wanted on this particular job because the client was, in and out, periodically checking in on me. And I just, feel weird with the camera and everything, so... And here we go, flash forward yet again. Here is the completed dressers, and we just have to do the drawers. Now, typically, with enough space like this, what I like to do is I like to do all the drawers at once. That's something I highly, highly, highly recommend, is doing all the drawers at once. Trust me, I don't know what it is, but the assembly style, the factory assembly line style of getting the drawers done, night and day difference. If you do the drawers one at a time, it takes forever. But if you kind of by the numbers, do them in an assembly line style, you do certain steps of all the drawers together all at once, it goes by so much quicker. And there's a lot of bigger jobs that I was on that were flat rate where I kind of learned this tactic to do everything as much as you can at once. Like items, do them together at the same time. You're gonna save so much time, which translates very easily back to money, if that's your overall goal, to maximize the amount of time that you're there and how much you're going to be earning in the end. So with these, another thing that I've decided to do, which I don't really recommend that you do it this particular way, is I take the dowels and I put them in the face of the drawer. Now, usually you want to put it in on the sides, you want to hammer it in. When you do it this way, you run the risk of the dowel poking through the face of the drawer. Highly would recommend you do it the other way, but if you're like me and, you don't mind being a little risky, then by all means, go ahead and do it this way. It just speeds things up. Same thing with these cam locks right here, and you'll notice I grab the phone because I hear the client coming back. But there she is, there she blows. Not too bad. I was there for a total of 3 hours. Usually these particular dressers take me about an hour and a half, so I was hoping to kind of get it done a lot sooner, but you know, for what it's worth, I think it was just fine having it be just that way. Okay, well, I guess good news. I got hit up for a job really close by, so it's not going to take too long. It's 2 desks. They're easier desks from IKEA. So there's something I want to bring up with this particular job. Not a whole lot of footage, but this is one of those scenarios where, you know, you would prefer to do flat rate over hourly. So flat rate for these 2 items, I would have walked out with close to $70. Once again, not a whole lot of footage. Hourly, you know, I only made $34 on this job for these 2 items. The client was stoked. He gave me 5 stars. You know, so the review, hey, that's worth it for me. You know, getting a nice, decent, you know, bump up in my, you know, my reviews is great. I love positive reviews, and reviews mean a lot more to me than a tip because, you know, for obvious reasons, you know, if you're highly rated on your reviews, you're gonna just encourage more clientele in the future. But one of the things that really kind of gets me is that, you know, just the IKEA flat rate program, the pricing is kind of all over the place. Sometimes items will take far longer than the estimate, and, you know, you're not really getting paid for the time that you're there, and, you know, vice versa. You know, sometimes, like, these desks, like, I got 2 of them done in an hour, and it's like $40, $50 or something like that. The client has to pay IKEA to get them assembled. He actually did not realize that they were 2 different colors, but it actually kind of worked out. I think it looks kind of good. It's like this home office thing he has going on. So overall, I do think that this project turned out pretty good, and he liked the fact that I was able to switch where the legs were. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. It's nice to actually be making content again, and I think that this is a very manageable way for me to do it. If you guys liked it, please let me know in the comment section down below. Also, remember my book Shelter is out for pre-order as of right now. It's the link down below, of course. Part 1 for Kindle devices coming soon towards the later half of the month. We're going to have the paperback available for purchase. As always, I'm your oh so glorious and beloved MaceValor, signing off.